श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपा साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं स्वजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं श्याम नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमाते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो धन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतां मंगोर्ममामन्नमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्बुजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमतौ श्रीमद्रत्नाकरसिंहासनोस्तौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलघुविन्ददेवो क्रीस्तलिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासराम्बे वंशीयो ततस्तथा कृष्ण कर्षन्वेनुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथाश्रियोऽस्तु ते स्तुतनहम् तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरे वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखात् अमृतद्रव्य संयुतां पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकः। ओम नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामी इति नाम्ने नमाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपदाय गौरकथादामदाय नगर ग्राम तारणे कुं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्। Okay, today we are reading from the Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter, the sacrifice performed by Daksha. And earlier we discussed about Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. So, one second. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, yes, Prabhu. Live. Okay, Prabhu will talk later. I'm a little busy because I'm actually I'm giving class Bhagavatam. Sorry for that. Okay, so here the sacrifice performed by Daksha. So Maitreya Rishi is saying that, O mighty armored Vidura, Lord Shiva, being thus pacified by the words of Lord Brahma, spoke as follows in answer to the Lord Brahma's request. Then um, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, he was saying that, "Oh, my dear father Brahma, so why, people will have a confusion? How come uh, Lord Shiva is he's Ashutosh, he's more powerful than the Brahma. He's calling him a father because he born from Brahma's forehead between two eyebrows. I do not mind the offenses created by the demigods because these demigods are childish and less intelligent. I do not take a serious view of their offenses and I have punished them only in order to right them." So, this context, we can say that mm, a master sometimes punishes a servant, not out of vengeance, but out of love to correct him and bring him to the right point. So it's vice versa. Like a small ant, it can move, but a big tree cannot move. This is also punishment. Just like in our childhood, we were being punished by the teachers. Stand up on the bench. It is like that. So according to our experience in the material world, a person punished in one country on court may appeal to another. Thus, the same man may be either punished or rewarded according to different judgments. So here, there are two types of punishments. One is that which is a conqueror imposes on an enemy, and the other is like that a father imposes on his son. There is a gulf of difference between these two kinds of punishment. So, by nature, Lord Shiva is great devotee of Krishna. He is Vaishnavanam. We can say Vaishnavanam Yatasham. And his name in the connection is Ashutosha, is always satisfied. Therefore, he did not come angry as if he were an enemy. He is not inimical to any living entity. Rather, he always wishes on the welfare of all. Whenever he chastises a person, it is just like a father's punishment of his son. Lord Shiva is like a father because he never takes seriously any offense by any living entity. So that quality is it doesn't come easily, you know. So definitely he's a Param Vaishnava. So he has developed that God. Yeah, this this we are going to discuss about 30 verses. I'll just give uh, some glimpse from this. And actually, what general principles we can draw, from these teachings? If you say in these different verses, like uh, you see Daksha being punished, so his throat got cut, head. It appears from the exchange of Daksha said that the modern scientific theory that the brain substance is the cause of all intelligent work is not valid. The brain substance of Daksha and that of a goat are different, but Daksha still acted like himself, even though his head was replaced by that of a goat. The conclusion is that it is the particular consciousness of an individual soul which acts. The brain substance is only an instrument which has nothing to do with real intelligence. The real intelligence, mind, and consciousness are part of the particular individual soul. The whole movement of Krishna consciousness is to purify the consciousness. It doesn't matter what kind of brain one has because if he simply transfers his consciousness from matter to Krishna, his life becomes successful. It is confirmed by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita. And we see that anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness achieves the highest perfection of life, regardless of whatever abominable condition of life he may have fallen into. Specifically, anyone in Krishna consciousness goes back to Godhead, back to home, and leaving his present material body. So then Lord Shiva is like, no, so he's continuing. He says, since the head of Daksha has already been burned to ashes, he will have the head of goat. The demigod known as Bhaga will be able to see his share of sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra. Here, demigods like Pushas will be able to chew only through the teeth of his disciples. And if alone, he will have to satisfy himself by eating dough made from chickpeas flour. But the demigods who have agreed to give me my share of the sacrifice will recover from all their injuries. So the demigods Pusha became dependent on his disciples for chewing, otherwise, he was allowed to swallow only dough made of chickpeas flour. Thus, his punishment continued. He could not use his teeth for eating since he had laughed at Lord Shiva. So, this is big offense, like So, we should know the time, place. Whatever we do, activities, time, place, and circumstances. One example, okay, one one house, okay, celebrating birthday party. The next house is celebrating, so one of their closed one left the body in the house. So the body is placed in a second room or some other room. Then the first room, some other, the guest has come from, they're supposed to go to the birthday party. They're bringing a cake and they brought up cake to the wrong house, and while entering, the person was very joyfully was saying, wow, I'm waiting for this day when, so I'm very happy to be here. And he opened the cake, then everybody is crying there, you know so we have to see actually the time, place, and circumstances. And first of all, we have to see where we are. So, what will happen here? Lord Shiva is a pure devotee, and this is offense, showing our teeth to somebody senior to us in any manner, age wise, like bhakti and authority wise. So, this and Krishna will never accept it, this kind of behavior, and especially offending a senior Vaishnava. So, and those who have their arms cut off will have to walk with the arms of Ashwini Kumaras. And those whose hands were cut off will have to do their work with the hands of Pusha. The priest will have to act in that manner. As for Bhrigu, he will have the beard from the goat's head. We heard in the previous verse, in verse number, mm, see here, it's clearly stated that because even the consciousness is very important. Okay, Daksha has that consciousness, even though his head got cut off and replaced with a goat head, but still his consciousness was good. So we just discussed about modern scientists, how they uh, actually hands and when the animal's head was fixed on the body of Daksha, he was immediately brought to consciousness. And he acted like as he awakened from sleep, the king saw Lord Shiva standing before him. And Bhrugumuni, a great supporter of Daksha, was awarded the beard of the goat's head, which was substituted for the head of Daksha. It appears from the exchange of Daksha's head that the modern scientific theory we just discussed, like brain substituency theory. Yeah. It is confirmed by the Lord himself in so who takes up Krishna consciousness achieves the highest perfection of life, regardless of whatever abominable conditions of life he may have fallen into. Specifically, anyone Krishna consciousness goes back to Godhead, leaving his present material body. The Christ says Maitreya, then my dear Vidura, all the personalities present were very much satisfied in heart and soul upon hearing the words of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the benedictors. Then Bhrigu Muni is saying that he is a great, is also chief of the great sages, and invited Lord Shiva to come to the sacrificial arena. Thus the demigods accompanied by the sages, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, all went to the place where the great sacrifices was being performed. The whole sacrifice arranged by King Daksha had been disturbed by Lord Shiva. Therefore, all the demigods present there, along with the Lord Brahma and the great sages, specifically requested Lord Shiva to come and revive the sacrificial fire. And there is a common phrase like no Shivahina Yajna, any sacrifice without the presence of Lord Shiva is baffled. And Yajnapati is, Yajneshwara is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And in the matter of sacrifice, yet in each yajna it is necessary for all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to present. So, but without Shiva's presence, that yajna won't it is a very, it's not auspicious. That's what he's saying. Prabhupada is saying any sacrifice without the presence of Lord Shiva is baffled. So then, after everything was executed, exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Daksha's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice. So, and at this time, all the demigods and the great sages were very careful not to irritate Lord Shiva. Therefore, whatever he asked, he was done. Excuse me. And it is specifically said here that Daksha's body was joined to the head of an animal like goat. Yeah, this here it is says that Daksha caught up as if he were awakened from deep sleep. In it is called supta ivotastau. Meaning is that a man awakes from sleep, he immediately remembers all the duties which he must execute. And Daksha was killed, and his head was taken away and burned to ashes. His body was lying dead, but by the grace of Lord Shiva, as soon as the head of a goat was joined to the body, Daksha came back to consciousness again, and that consciousness is also individual. It clearly indicated that individual. Individual means, see, every person have a consciousness. If the person is not in consciousness, so he act according to his consciousness. But Daksha has a high consciousness. That's why. So even though it is attached with a goat body, head, but is the consciousness comes through the heart, not through brain or something. Okay, the heart. So his consciousness is very clear. So he's a Christ, he's a devotee, pure devotee, and he was practicing since so many years. So his consciousness remained the same, although his bodily condition changed. Thus, bodily construction has nothing to do with the development of consciousness. His consciousness carries with the transmigration of the soul. There are many instances of this in Vedic history, such as the case of Maharaj Bharat. When he was leaving the body, so he was meditating on the deer. Then he immediately uh, he took as a deer body, like next life. That's what after quitting, whoever quits the body while quitting, whoever remembers a particular time, whatever then their next body will be decided at that moment. But Krishna is telling that here, like, mm, if my sincere devotees, whoever is uttering my holy name on their tongue, so I will, if in the last minute, if they forget my uttering my holy name, I will command, make them sure to remember my name. So that Krishna is giving assurance, and we should not doubt on it. If we are doubt on it, that means our consciousness is not pure. So we are not developed yet. And uh, however, like, this his consciousness was as good as it was in the body of King Bharata. So, and the arrangements by the Lord is so nice that if a person's consciousness is turned into Krishna consciousness, there is no doubt that in his next life he will be great devotee of Krishna, even if he is offered a different type of body. So, um, there is a one like story that one bug, it was uh, flying, and once it reached to one temple room. In the temple room, there are a lot of, like, food, prasadam and all out there. Then that bug went and fly fly on that prasadam. He started eating that prasad. Then as soon as a pujari came, he opened the door, the altar. Then he saw the bug was, like, lying on the prasadam and trying to eat. Then pujari got anger. Then he pushed it. Then the bug left the body. Then immediately it got transferred to human body. So it is rare, like, it is rare actually. From bug to getting human birth is not easy job. It's rare. So, but here, because of the touching of Krishna Prasad, the bug become purified and it got transferred to human body. So that's how consciousness takes place. And example, like, we see auspiciousness. Shiva is called auspiciousness. If anyone sees Lord Shiva with the devotion and reverence, his heart is immediately cleansed. And King Daksha was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, and yet by seeing him with a little love and devotion, his heart immediately became cleansed. In the rainy season, the reservoirs of water become dirty and muddy, but as soon as the autumn rain comes, all the water immediately becomes clear and transparent. So here, Daksha's heart was impure because of his having slandered Lord Shiva, for which he was severely punished. Daksha now came to consciousness, and just by seeing Lord Shiva with veneration and respect, he became immediately purified. And Daksha wanted to offer prayers to Lord Shiva, but as he remembered the ill-fated death of his daughter Sati, his eyes filled with tears in the bereavement, his voice choked up, and he could not say anything. At this time, King Daksha, afflicted by love and affection, was very much awakened to his real senses with great endeavor. He first spared his mind, checked his feelings, and with a pure consciousness began to offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Then Daksha is saying, "My dear Lord Shiva, I committed a great offense against you, but you are so kind that instead of withdrawing your mercy, you have done me a great favor by punishing me. You and Lord Vishnu never neglect even useless, unqualified brahmanas. Why then should you neglect me? who am engaged in performing sacrifices. That's what, like, no. Lord thought the Goswamis about the devotional service, comparing it to a creeper, like, and advised him to protect the bhakti creeper most carefully against the mad elephant, offense against the pure devotees. So, mad elephant, it goes to garden and it removes all the plants, and it acts its own way. This is like no creeper. The offense is creeper for our bhakti. The creeper has to be protected from the desires of sense enjoyment and monistic liberation and perfection of the hatha yoga system. They are all detrimental on the path of devotional service. Similarly, violence against the living beings and desire for worldly gain, worldly reception, and worldly fame are all determined to the progress of bhakti or Bhagavad Dharma. An offense at the lotus feet of the Lord is sometimes excused by the merciful Lord, but an offense at the feet of a devotee is very dangerous for an for one who actually wants to make progress in devotional service. Mm. On this principle of the renounce, um, this nobody should uh, commit offenses onto feet of pure devotees. Uh, like no, Lord knew no compromise, and therefore, even though he knew that the king was a great devotee, he refused to see king only because of the king was a dollar and cent man. By this example, the Lord wanted to emphasize the proper behavior for an transcendentalist. A transcendentalist has nothing to do with women and money. You must always refrain from such intimate relations. Like any, like no, you see king, however, he is favored by the Lord by the expert arrangements of the devotees. This means that the beloved devotee of the Lord can favor a neophyte more liberally than the Lord. Pure devotees, therefore, never commit an offense at the feet of another pure devotee. An offense at the lotus feet of the Lord is sometimes excused by the merciful Lord, but an offense at the feet of a devotee is very dangerous for one who actually wants to make progress in devotional services. Although Daksha felt defeated, he knew that his punishment was simply the great mercy of Lord Shiva. He remembered that Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu are never neglect, the Brahmanas. According to Vedic civilization, a descendant of Brahmana family should never be heavily punished. This was exemplified in Arjuna's treatment of Ashwatthama. Like Ashwatthama was the son of great Brahmana Dronacharya, and in spite of his having committed the great offense of killing all the sleeping sons of the Pandavas, for which he was condemned even by the Lord Krishna, Arjuna excused him by not killing him because he happened to be the son of a Brahmana. The word Brahma Bandhusu used here is significant. Brahma Bandhu means a person who is born of Brahmana father, but those activities are not up to the standard of the Brahmanas. Such a person is not Brahmana, but a Brahma Bandhu. Daksha proved himself to be a Brahma Bandhu. He was born of a great Brahmana's father, Brahma, but his treatment of Lord Shiva was not exactly Brahmanical. Therefore, he admitted that he was not a perfect Brahmana. Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, however, are affectionate even to an imperfect Brahmana. Shiva punished Daksha not as one does his enemy. Rather, he punished Daksha just to bring him to his senses so that he would know that he had done wrong. Daksha could understand this, and he acknowledged the great mercy of Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva towards the fallen Brahmanas, including even himself, although he was fallen. His vows was to execute the sacrifice as is the duty of Brahmanas. Uh, and thus he began his prayers to Lord Shiva. My dear great and powerful Lord Shiva, your creator first from the mouth of Lord Brahma in order to protect the Brahmanas in pursuing education, austerities, vows, and self-realization. As a protector of the Brahmanas, you always protect the regulative principles they follow, just as cowherd boy keeps a stick in his hand to give protection to the cows. Like, and Lord Shiva is called Pashupati because he protects the living entities in their developed consciousness so that they may follow the Vedic system of Varna and Ashrama. The word Pashu refers to the animal as well as to the human entity. It is stated here that Lord Shiva is always interested in protecting the animals and the animalistic living entities who are not very advanced in the spiritual sense. It is also stated that Brahmanas are produced from the mouth of the Supreme Lord. We should always remember that Lord Shiva is being addressed as the representative of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. In the Vedic literature, it is described that the Brahmanas are born from the mouth of the universal form of Vishnu. The Kshatriyas are born from the his arms, the Vaishyas are from the abdomen and waist, and the Shudras from his legs. In the formation of a body, the head is the principal factor. The Brahmanas are born from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order to accept charity for worship of Vishnu. And to spread Vedic knowledge, Lord Shiva is known as Pashupati, the protector of the Brahmanas and other living entities. He protects them from the attacks of non-Brahmanas or uncultured persons who are against the self-realization process. Here we have to understand that Lord Shiva is acting two ways. One is protecting the Brahmanas, at the same time is protecting the animals and uncultured people also. So that's only the special people can do that. So here, like, Pashupati also we discussed, and Vedas, like, who are simply attached to the ritualistic portion of the Vedas and not to understand the situation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not any more advanced than animals. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that even though one performs the rituals of the Vedas, if he does not develop a sense of Krishna consciousness, then all his labor in performing Vedic rituals is considered to be simply a waste of time. Shiva's aim in the destroying Daksha's yajna was to punish Daksha because by neglecting him, I mean Shiva. So Daksha was committing a great offense. Lord Shiva punishment was just like that of a coward boy who keep a stick to um, frighten his animals, not to beat. There is a proverb: uh, you should not break the stick. At the same time, snake should not be killed. Okay, it's to warn, not to give punishment. Yeah, it is commonly said that to give protection to animals, a stick is needed because animals cannot reason and argue. Their reasoning and argument is argumentum and baculum. Unless there is a rod, they do not obey. Force is required for the animalistic class of men. Whereas those who are advanced or convinced by reasons, arguments, and scriptural authority. Persons who are simply attached to Vedic rituals without further advancement of devotional service or Krishna consciousness are almost like animals, and Lord Shiva is in charge of giving them protection and sometimes punishing them as is he punished Daksha. Then, as usual, a devotee is an adverse condition of life accepts such a condition to be the mercy of Lord. Actually, the insulting words used by Daksha is that against Lord Shiva were enough to have him thrown perpetually into a hellish life. But Lord Shiva, being kind towards him, awarded him punishment to neutralize the offense. And Daksha realized this and feeling obliged for Lord Shiva's magnanimous behavior. See, such a wonderful magnanimous behavior, Lord Shiva. So, one who worships Shiva, so then ultimately they'll become a devotee of Krishna, because um, that's what he does. That's his job, Shiva's job. He brings them into Krishna consciousness. And I have I have realistic stories also regarding that. There is a devotee from Odisha. Uh, he is there still. He's a staunch worshipper of Lingaraj in Bhubaneswar. So one day he was worshipping like since so many years. So Lord Shiva got pleased with him, and Shiva told him that, okay, mm, he was in the temple, he heard the voice. He said, my dear son, and now I'm happy and satisfied with you. Now this is the time you should go and um, find out one of its spiritual master, and you take diksha from him. And now onwards, you should worship Lord Krishna or Vishnu, the ultimate goal. Then he was furious. He is just bhakta is not much educated. Then he was searching. Then finally he met Namata devotees and he came. Then Shiva gave indication also where he will be and all. Then he came here Mayapur and he found he got Diksha and is practicing now. Like and nobody believes that these things happens, because one who sincerely worships and some other the deities like gods are reciprocative. So anyway, so here Daksha appreciated that the punishment offered to him as Shiva was a manifestation of Lord Shiva's mercy. That is a symptom of a person making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness. It is said that a devotee of Krishna consciousness never takes any miserable condition of life to be condemnation of by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He accepts the miserable condition to be the grace of the Lord. So, thus, I have received only little punishment as a token execution of the law of karma. Thinking of His grace in that way, devotee always surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead more and more seriously and is not disturbed by so-called punishment. So we have very less time. I'll just give you small touch. And materialistic persons are always anxious to get material profit, but they are not serious about spiritual profit. What does we understood, we can hear from sixth these verses is the main point is that the like last we just discussed that, and here it says that the club and the wheel are the large symbols of punishment for the demons and miscreants, and the lotus flower and conch shell are used to bless the devotees. There are always two classes of men, the devotees and the demons. So Lord is having four club and wheel to punish the miscreants, and lotus and conch to give blessings to the devotees. And the tongue should be engaged in the chanting and in the eating the Lord's prasad, so that the other senses will be controlled. And chanting is the medicine, and prasad is the diet. which with these processes one can bring his service, and as the service increases, the Lord reveals more and more the devotees. And what can and we can understand, like last two verses I'll tell. And Lord Shiva made this statement: it is understood that as long as one is on the material platform, one is affected by the three modes of material nature. As soon as one is in Krishna consciousness, however, one is no longer affected by such material activities. One should therefore always be fixed in Krishna consciousness, busy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is guaranteed that such a devotee will never be affected by the actions and reactions of the three modes of material nature. And what is the perfect position of Krishna consciousness person? The only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu and always pray to be excused. One should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance and not even slightly on one's own strength. So, and further verses we'll discuss more maybe next week. So just a minute. And then next, Brahma says that, my dear Lord, your personality and eternal form cannot be understood by any person who is trying to know you through the different process of acquiring knowledge. Your position is always transcendental to the material creation, whereas the emphoric attempt to understand you is material, as or its objectives and instruments. So one must understand that. So we try to engage ourselves, our body, senses in the Krishna consciousness by visiting temple, offering obeisances, glorifying the devotees, glorifying the lords, and having darshan of the Lord and honoring prasad. At the same time, offering obeisances to the devotees will protect us from the creepers. And at the same time, we should not commit offenses, even though there will be some differences among the devotees and opinion differences is different, like and real differences is different. Even the differences come through opinions, not that this difference makes us become enemies and increase enmity among us. So one should try to use Krishna consciousness to bring up, like elevate ourselves to become closer to Krishna, not to that, and divide individually and become enmity and away from the Krishna. It These things causes us to suffer more in this material world. Okay. Um, Thank you for giving me opportunity. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Actually, I'm running out of time. Guru Maharaj is going to give class, so I have to be there. Uh, Quick comments or any suggestions, any please feedback. I'll be waiting for. Just sorry for that. Have to leave. Dear devotees, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Guru Maharaj giving class in my temple.
Yeah, I'll be giving class. Mayapur TV will be broadcast.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranam to everybody assembled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it was a good class. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Very
Prabhuji.
nice
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna
Very nice
Prabhuji,
class.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, dear
Hare
Vaishnavas,
devotees.
my obeisances to all you. I'm just taking leave. Thank you for giving me opportunity. It's like it's 30 verses. Okay, anyway, it's quick reading.